Welcome into another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I am Liv Moods, and of course, this episode, as are all episodes, presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to our friends over at Landmark Lincoln. Make sure you head to their location off of Bellevue and Broadway to figure out why they have been the best Lincoln dealer in all of Colorado for many, many, many years. You guys know I say it every week. I am a proud new owner of a 2025 Lincoln Nautilus and could not love my car more. Go head over and see our friends, tell them I sent you, and check out their cars. Now let's get into the show. Oh, Andy the DJ. You guys saw that new intro. I love it. We have much to discuss today. As you guys can see and tell, I'm feeling very high on life, or high on a Broncos dub, or high on this espresso, whatever it may be. I don't care. I'm feeling like I'm in a really great moods today. What's my mood swing of the day? Well, it's happy, it's excited, it's a little cocky and arrogant, to be honest with you, because the Denver Broncos took down the world champions. That's the truth. I saw it with my own two eyes, as did you. I've spent most of today arguing with Eagles fans who say the Broncos didn't beat the Eagles, the refs did. Shut up, shut it down, and humble yourself today, okay? Because it's my moment. My moment may not last very long, so I'm going to soak in it. I'm going to enjoy it, and that's what we're going to do on the show today. But we do have, hold on one second. I'm going to say, I am live. Come hang. We're letting the people know on X. Share this if you must. Bring a friend in so we can chat about all things. We've got, my goodness, what do we have? We've got football, tiny little bit of basketball in there, but mostly football because yesterday was insane. I think first we do have to address the Sunday night football game. Have we been kind of blessed with primetime games this season? It feels like we have. The Patriots were a 7.5-point underdog versus the Buffalo Bills. There are now officially 0 undefeated teams left standing. None. Zilch. The Eagles and the Bills were the last two remaining, and they are no longer undefeated. Shout out Drake Maye. Shout out Bo Nix. Drake Maye delivered in one of arguably the toughest environments to play football in Buffalo. Primetime versus Josh Allen, going head-to-head versus Josh Allen. Excuse me, outperforming Josh Allen. That's the truth. That's what he did. Cam Mango, I'm sorry, I just saw your comment. Happy birthday to your mom. Give her all of my love, please, and thank you so much. Okay, Drake Maye, 22 completions off of 30 attempts, 273 yards, no passing touchdowns, no interceptions. But when you run the ball well, shout out Stevenson, you don't have to throw the ball through the air to score touchdowns. Drake Maye, however, moved the ball very efficiently for this Patriots team while the defense was slowing down the Buffalo Bills. Overall, fantastic performance. And we got to talk about Diggs for a second. Cooking against his former team in the Buffalo Bills. And before the game even started, actually, I took to my Twitter account and I said, I don't know what it is, but Stefon Diggs' pre-game interview just now got me really hyped up. There is some sort of newfound maturity, love for the game, leadership that I could see out of Stefon Diggs before the game even started. And then he gets out there. This is now his second in a row 100-plus yard game. 10 receptions, 146 yards for Stefon Diggs versus his former team. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we love the game of football. Seriously, this is what we love football for. I can't believe after the weekend that we had, there are still people out there that don't love this sport. How? Are you okay? I must ask. Are you okay? If you don't love football, what are you doing? Let's get into it. What did we see this weekend? We saw a lot of stuff, you guys. The Titans overcame an 18-point deficit to defeat Arizona, 22-21. I am very happy for Cam Ward. And I think what we learned in this game is that if you give Cam Ward a little bit of help, I think he can be something in this league. That's the truth. Okay. I liked what I saw. This to me felt like a win for this Titans team, not just to salvage this year with their 0-4 start, but mostly to kind of get the morale back going here. They were on a 10-game losing streak. You need a win like this at this point in the season to save the morale of the entire franchise, if we're being honest. Fans, coaches, players, owners, you name it. Everybody needed this win. I'm very happy for Cam Ward specifically, though, especially after him getting in there, in the locker room. I'm not going to lie, we're ass. Wow. Way to put it frank. I mean, he didn't hold back, and as he shouldn't. It's the truth. And maybe that's exactly what his team, the coaches, the fans needed to hear. I want to talk about DeMarcado for a second. Shout out Frogs. This one hurt my feelings, guys. This one really hurt my effing feelings, guys. This is a former Horned Frog that had actually a touchdown just a little bit ago. Was it last week or the week before? And I was like, yes, Horned Frogs showing up and showing out. This is fantastic. We have got to effing stop doing this, guys. If you don't know, DeMarcado, in a celebration of sorts, he wasn't really celebrating, but he was just, you know how they kind of jaunt into the end zone and they just kind of flick the ball away like whatever. He flicked away the ball, fumbled the ball, a potential 72, I believe it was 72 or 76 yard touchdown that had to be reversed because he flicked the ball out of his hands before getting in the end zone. What is this? This is amateur hour. We have got to cut this out. Now, here's what we saw from the head coach of the Cardinals after this moment. Check it out.
Clearly not happy. Maybe he's trying to motivate.
Oh. Gotta be honest, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you smacking your players. I don't agree with that. I don't like it. I don't like you hitting him. I'm not sure that's gonna prove a point necessarily. That being said, his mom should smack him maybe. Son, what are we doing here? We just can't have this. And this has happened a lot already this season. We're in week 5 and we have seen players doing this. This is such a rookie mistake. This is what you expect in Pee Wee football when they're 12 years old. You don't expect this on the highest level where their craft has been refined and perfected. You don't expect this type of nonsense. The Cardinals ended up losing this game. Now, I don't want to say that he is the reason that they lost this game, because had he scored this touchdown, they would have been up 28-6. So they were already up by quite a bit. It takes a team effort to blow a lead that large. So this is not all on DeMarcado as to why the Cardinals lost this game. That being said, could this have been the difference maker? Potentially. We'll never know, but we got to stop seeing this, folks. I need to have, we need to have all the players unite together to understand that, like, this kind of stuff is, I think this is a punishable offense. I'm not kidding. Like, I think you should be benched some games for doing this type of rookie behavior. This is unbelievable. No more of this. We've got to stop it. Okay, the Panthers overcame a 17-point deficit to defeat Miami 27-24. Miami, just shut it down. Shut it down, Miami. Start from the ground all the way up. Shut it down, blow it up. I'm serious. This is really bad. This win for the Panthers just quadruple confirms that McDaniel will likely be unemployed. Now, whatever team happens to get Mike McDaniel as their offensive coordinator is really lucky. I'm just not sure he is head coach material anymore. This is really a tough watch, this Miami team this season. Miami's run game, non-existent. Their offense lacks creativity, which is really tough because for many seasons, that's what you credited Mike McDaniel for, was his very creative offense. Tough times in Miami. I would not be shocked if they move forward in a different direction that is not Mike McDaniel. But that being said, a team that gets him as their offensive coordinator, I think will be very lucky. So I don't think his future is done in the NFL, but I certainly think his future is coming to an end in Miami. The Saints overcame an 11-point deficit to defeat the Giants 26-14. The Saints are awful, and they won. So what does that mean for the Giants? Well, I think it means that Daboll needs to be fired immediately. Okay, that to me is your only option. I think we're kind of holding on to that first season, 9-7-1. NFL Coach of the Year, but what have we seen from Brian Daboll since then? Nothing worth talking about, I'm afraid. That's the truth. For some perspective, Brian Daboll alongside Danny Dimes really wasn't working. Daboll is currently 1-4. Danny Dimes is currently 4-1. Uh-oh. Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder who the common denominator is in this equation. Yeah, I think we're quickly seeing who the common denominator is in this equation. Okay, moving forward. The Commanders Shout out, Commanders. Football is just more fun when Jaden Daniels is playing. I gotta say it. It's the truth. The Commanders overcame a 10-point deficit to defeat the Chargers 27-10. God bless America. The Broncos win. The Chargers lose. Are we just not thrilled? I mean, do you think I wore this jacket for no reason? Please, be so for real. Football is more fun when Jaden Daniels is playing. Heisman Trophy winner, 2nd overall pick, Rookie of the Year, and Juju Watkins potentially on this man's arm. Did y'all see that handshake? That was intimate. That was personal. That was amazing. I mean, Jaden Daniels is really him. He is a dog. D-A-double-G dog. He really is. Last thing I'm going to say on this game is I tried to warn y'all about Deebo Samuel and running his name through the mud. I tried to tell y'all that trash talking Deebo Samuel after what you would consider a bad season was not very smart. 8 receptions, 96 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Where are the he's washed, he's slow, he's not in shape people at? Because I just want to talk. I really do. Although I don't think you want to talk. You're awfully quiet. Maybe stay that way. Okay, moving on. The Broncos. The Broncos overcame a 14-point deficit. Now, this 14-point deficit also all happened in the fourth quarter. They were going into the fourth quarter down by 2 touchdowns. Okay, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. They defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 21-17. Here's what I'm going to be honest with you about. I started cleaning my house. It's true. I had the game on in the background, but I was mopping. I was sweeping. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to watch this right now. I'm going to listen to it, but I'm not going to watch it because what this is feeling like is doomsday a little. And forgive me for feeling that way because honestly, the fourth quarter is usually where the Broncos offense falls asleep. So I didn't really have a lot of faith that in the fourth quarter, down by 2 touchdowns, they were going to turn things around and figure it out. But they did do just that. Now, before we get into all things celebration, I do want to start with kind of that beginning chunk of the game that didn't really start so swimmingly. This game overall was a little bit of a pressure cooker on my blood pressure. It really was. Down 2 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter. At this point, there was 0 rhythm and or chemistry within this offense. 0. I'm getting real sick of hearing off the fingertips, overthrown, underthrown, dropped by. I mean, it just feels like when Bo Nix decides to have a good moment, his receivers are MIA. When the receivers are ready, Bo is missing them. It's just like we cannot get on the same page. That's how the game started. That's how it felt in the beginning. We have got to, and I'm going to stand on this and I'm going to die on this hill. I don't care if we just won. I've got to say it, and I mean it when I say it. We have got to abandon the deep ball. It's not for Bo. It's not. Sean, we got to play to Bo's strengths, and the deep ball is not his strength. It's not. The reality is, we also need our receivers to kind of get in playmaker mode a little bit. Bo shouldn't have to deliver you a perfect ball every single play for you to make something happen, right? This is not, kindergarten. We shouldn't have to hold your hand through this, right? We need players that are really just taking control of the situation, making plays. And so beginning of the game, we weren't seeing that. And then I quite remember a catch by Courtland Sutton where I said, who was that? That's not the Courtland Sutton I watch every Sunday. Who was that? So you saw that from them in the fourth quarter. You really did, but that's not what you started with. I was already seeing on my timeline, sophomore slump. Shut it down. I don't want to hear it. We're not gonna play into the sophomore slump situation. We're just not, okay? Because Bo's better than that. We're not going to start feeding into the excuses. What we saw in the fourth quarter from him, we know he's capable of that. He showed us that versus the Philadelphia Eagles, okay? In that fourth quarter where Bo decided to just fire things up. 9 completions off of 10 attempts, you guys. 126 passing yards, 1 touchdown. 3 of 3 on scoring drives. That's what you want right there. That doesn't sound like a sophomore slump to me. That was all in the fourth quarter. So now what we've got to figure out as Broncos fans is why can't we get that going earlier? What needs to happen so that we can get that fired up a little bit faster? Because honest to goodness, I'm not saying this is the reason that the Broncos won, but the Eagles really slowed down. You're going to have teams that are better second half teams. You're going to find that. And so we've got to find a way that the Broncos can kind of balance out how and when they show up. We just got to get to it a little faster. Because like I said in the beginning, I'm like, where are the playmakers? Come on, receivers, make it happen. Bo, what's with the deep balls? And then I saw a catch from Cortland Sutton, and I literally said, who is that? Who is that man? Evan Ingram. Looking like the guy we paid for. Guys, I don't know what happened, but there was some really good vibes and energy happening in that fourth quarter, and that's what we need to see every quarter. If you could get that a little bit earlier in a football game and a little more consistently throughout the football game, this is a very dangerous team, I'm afraid. Feed Dobbins every single time. I'm not kidding. You finally have a guy that can move the ball. Feed him. He is starving. He looks famished out there. This man looks like he hasn't eaten a meal in years. Feed him. Seriously. When you do, he scores. He did yesterday. Things you love to see. Listen, I'm going to try to be super positive about this one, but it might be hard for me. I've spoken plenty about Riley Moss. I have. And you know what? I've actually faced a little bit of scrutiny on X for it, and I wasn't really quite sure why. I tweeted last weekend some of my concerns about Riley Moss, and there were a lot of people that were like, you don't know anything. You're an idiot. Shut up. Those same people had a lot to say about Riley Moss that wasn't necessarily positive this week. Guys, we've been seeing the same thing with Riley Moss week to week to week. I'm afraid to tell you that. It's the truth. There were a few times yesterday that penalties saved him from looking really bad. But I don't forget. I know what I saw. And what I saw is that he keeps getting a little bit cooked, I'm afraid. Yeah, he does. And he is in the most vulnerable position on the field. He is constantly the target because offenses across the league see what I see. He is vulnerable. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's vulnerable, and he's playing in a very vulnerable position right now. And offenses know that. So he is the target, and that's our weak spot. It's the truth. Jahdae Barron, our first-round pick. That kind of feels like a waste right now. Let's utilize him. I think you've seen enough from Riley Moss over the last few weeks of this season to understand that he is a little vulnerable. I'm not saying he's bad. I've never once said he's bad, but he is vulnerable. And offenses across the league know that. And you've got a first-round pick in Jahdae Barron. And I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice to not give him a shot and help develop him a little bit so that that doesn't feel like a wasted first-round pick. Enough of the critiques. Let's celebrate this win. This win was humongous for the Broncos. Humongous. Massive. Genuinely humongous and massive, okay? The exciting part about this win, though, is actually what comes after it. They have a lot of winnable games on the horizon. Jets, Giants, I believe they've got the Cowboys. I think they've got the Texans. I think they've got the Raiders. I mean, they have a lot of winnable games on the horizon. A lot. And this, to me, was a really great momentum shifter for this Broncos team. To be trailing by 14 points and then win against the world champions will do a lot for your confidence and your swag and your aura. And I think that's exactly what this Broncos team needs alongside their raw talent. The Broncos' all-time record on the road when entering the fourth quarter trailing by 14 plus is 2-112. Yeah. This arguably, you could say with confidence, and I'm going to say that right now, this is the best win so far under Sean Payton with the Denver Broncos that we've seen yet. This was one of the first times as a Broncos fan under Sean Payton that I have seen them win a tough football game. God bless America. Amen. Love that. This was huge. There are so many winnable games on the horizon for this team. Jets, Giants, Cowboys, Texans, Raiders. I mean, what a really great position to put yourself in ahead of some very winnable games. Love to see it. Actually, love to see it. These are the world champs. Where did they go wrong? Where did the Eagles go wrong? Well, they made the mistake of not feeding their best player, Saquon Barkley. 6 carries he got. 6! This is Saquon Barkley we're talking about, folks. Jalen Hurts attempted more passes than he has since September of last season. Why? You have Saquon effing Barkley. I'm very confused why he wasn't being utilized. Again, not my problem. Thank you for not utilizing him. I think it surely helped us out. There's a lot of little holes in this Eagles team right now. You've got A.J. Brown making comments about Jalen Hurts and his frustrations, and Saquon's not being utilized. This offense is just, ugh. Was this a very telling win for this Eagles team? Might have been. You know, it's hard to not overreact this early. You know, you don't want to overreact this early because there's a lot of season left. But, ugh, I think we saw a lot of weaknesses from this Eagles team exposed in this game. There's some, I don't want to say miscommunication, but there's some disconnects happening on this offense. Doesn't feel like there's a really good, proper game plan happening here. Is there time for them to fix that? Of course. And I'm sure they likely will. But I don't really care. Shout out Broncos. Got the dub. Eagles are no longer undefeated. Appreciate it. I also have to toot my horn and say that I posted a video like 4 days before the football game, and I said, Eagles 4-1 incoming, and people laughed, hee hee ha ha in my face. Who's laughing now? I know ball. Move on. Okay. NBA preseason. Can we all just chillax a little? Thanks. And I'm also talking to myself a bit, for sure, because here's the deal. I actually had my father-in-law texting a bit. Ooh, are you seeing this? And I was like this, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because I'm actually feeling very excited right now for this season. And I don't want to stress myself out because it's very easy to, right? I think you can watch the preseason in the NBA under the lens of like, okay, what do we got? You look at new additions. You look at chemistry maybe a little bit, but you really can't take it to heart too much. Do you guys remember who had the best preseason record last year? If you don't, no worries, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, the Golden State Warriors, perfect 6-0. 6-0. They were the 7th seed in the West last year, okay? So preseason only means so much. Only means so much. Quite frankly, I don't even know if I'm going to watch the preseason games because I don't want to get my feelings hurt. I don't want to be upset. I don't want to watch things and go, oh my gosh, our defense hasn't been addressed at all. Oh my gosh, our 3-point shooting. Oh, I don't want to do it to myself because I already know the drama that comes alongside me turning on a preseason game. The antics of Live Moods. It's not going to be fun for anyone. So I think we all just take a deep breath. And we just understand that preseason means literally nothing. It means nothing to the team. It means nothing to the fans. It means nothing to the league. So frankly, I don't think that we're going to get the best out of Nikola Jokic because he doesn't care. And he shouldn't. He really shouldn't. So I would just say, reminder, don't stress yourself out about a preseason game. I don't even know if I'm going to turn the games on because it stresses me out. Okay? You see on this little graphic here, that away, a guy by the name of Steph Curry. Yeah. We're going to talk about Steph Curry's wife for a second. And I got to be honest, guys. I think you guys are effing weird. I think some of you haters and trolls, when it comes to Ayesha Curry and the interview that she just did, I think you're weird as hell. We're going to play it, though. I'm going to let you listen to it yourself. And it's kind of long, but I want you to listen to it, really soak it in. And then we're going to deep dive on my take on all of it. And you can get in the comment section and let me know your take. Let's check it out.
4 kids. Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals. And I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
It's so hard also to be the woman in a situation where you're like, men just don't get as much scrutiny. Like they can maybe tell him like your fucking shots suck tonight, but like the looks and all of that is just like not a factor of conversation as much.
No.
Did you talk to Steph about it? Like, or did you kind of keep it within yourself so it didn't?
I do not have a bone in my body that can keep anything to myself. So if it comes to mind, it's coming out. And he's so gracious. Like, he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, what do you, it's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real. After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughters so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something, and then it kind of just disappeared, and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm
Yeah.
not home, like, did you experience that?
I still experience
Okay.
that. I still experience that. I'm always in therapy talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you, even for yourself, like even the things that made me feel confident and cool, then what are you doing?
Guys, she faced a lot of scrutiny, like a lot of online scrutiny for these comments. Like, I saw this meme of like Ayesha Curry when it comes to embarrassing her husband. I genuinely see nothing wrong with what she said. Nothing. And let me explain why I don't see anything wrong with what she said. First of all, here's a news flash for the men out there. Okay? Please take this one to heart. There is a world in which, this is going to blow your mind. Prepare yourself. Maybe buckle your seatbelts even. There is a world in which not all women dream of being a wife and a mother. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a world where not every woman wants to be a wife and a mother? And by the way, there is nothing wrong with that. Until I met my fiance, I didn't picture myself that way. I pictured myself climbing the corporate ladder, being a badass in my work field, making money, paying my own bills, being Miss Independent. That was my dream. Not every woman wants to be a wife and or a mother. And there is a certain element of this that she did have to give up a lot of the things that she dreamt for herself so that Steph didn't have to. I'm not saying Steph Curry doesn't help at home. From what I can see, he is an amazing father. But during an 82-game season, do you think he's constantly available to pack lunches, to sign permission slips, to help with homework, to carpool the kids, to tuck them in at night, to read them a bedtime story? He's not. So while you watch Steph Curry on your television screen multiple times a week, there is a woman on the back end of that handling logistics that you know nothing about. So yes, she did make sacrifices, a lot of them. And I don't really see a problem with her expressing that. Her dreams died. When she was young, she dreamed of a certain life. Those dreams are no longer possible for her. Like any human, she's going to mourn that. And she's allowed to. You also have to remember, being a parent in general, I'm not even just going to say a mother, because there's a lot of single fathers out there. Being a parent in general is a very thankless job. And I think when you do that full time, it's hard. It's hard because Steph is getting praise left and right for what he's doing, and he should be. He's amazing. But she's at home handling a lot of the stuff behind the scenes and probably not getting any public praise for it. I'm sure her husband does a great job of thanking her and reminding her of how thankful he is for all that she does. But in so many ways, from a society perspective, being a parent is a thankless job. It's like, oh, you pop these kids out, so they're your responsibility, so you just have to deal with it. Well, it takes two to tango, I'm afraid. It takes two to make a child, I'm afraid. So she did have to make sacrifices so that Steph didn't have to. I think a lot of you guys sometimes forget. And by the way, I've met some of the bad side of this equation here. I could tell in college the women that knew they wanted to be wags and nothing less. And they had bad intentions in doing it, and they were, quite frankly, a leech. They were. Seriously, I've got a list in my brain of the ones I'm talking about. But I also know quite a few wags that have degrees and their own jobs and are very, very smart. I actually want to take a second and do a shout out because I know this person personally, Hannah Sand. Her boyfriend is on the 49ers, D. Winters. Okay. She's a wag. She spends her weekends traveling to watch him play football. Spends her weekends and her weeks, making sure he has gift baskets and all the little fancy things to keep him as good as he can be for his career. Because yes, I'm sure she knows that in so many ways, there's a luxury attached to the career that he has. But what you don't know about Hannah Sand is she went to college, TCU, and got a degree in engineering. She is one of the smartest women I know. And she's juggling that job on top of being a supportive girlfriend to her partner that's probably not home very often and playing in the NFL. We're not going to lump all the wags in the same category because there are wags out there bossing up and doing their thing and holding down the fort. Listen, there are the wags. I'm just going to keep it frank with you. There are the ones out there that don't have good intentions and never did to begin with, okay? But there are those that have their own lives that they wish to live, and they may have to sacrifice those to support their partner. So I don't see anything wrong with what Ayesha Curry said. And I think you're kind of a weirdo if you were blasting her on social media because I don't see the problem. She made sacrifices so that Steph didn't have to. Point blank, period. And not every woman out there wants to be a wife and a mom. We too have dreams, goals, and aspirations. And when we get into a relationship or we have children, we have to put some of those things on pause. And I always talk about this with my fiance. A good partner will change their life when a baby comes into the picture. They will. They'll help. They'll be up late. They'll be helping around the house. They will adjust their life to support their partner and, make life a little bit easier. But technically speaking, if we're speaking technically, outside of the financial part, which in many homes, both parties are contributing in that way, but outside of the financial piece, which is a huge piece, I'm not downplaying that, but just on like the technicalities of the day-to-day functioning, the woman that's bearing the child has to change. A lot has to change, right? I mean, physically, emotionally, mentally, the baby can't eat without you. There's a lot going on there. For those 9 months leading up to the birth, the man's life really doesn't have to change all that much. That's the truth. The person bearing the child has to change a lot. So I'm just saying, I don't think it's fair to be scrutinizing her for speaking on something that does require a lot of sacrifice. And Steph won't understand it or get it. He doesn't get it. He could be as supportive as humanly possible, but he's not going to get it. So I don't know. I just think you're a weirdo if you took offense to what she said, because I think she was only speaking the truth here. I really do. So anyway, I don't know. You guys are weird. It's hard to keep up with you guys, honestly. Whatever. You guys are so weird. I can't even. Okay, moving on. That actually probably should have been an off my chest segment because I feel like I just kind of went in there for a second, but I think I do that a lot anyway. So. Okay, moving on. Where do we stand? Weekly standings. Clap, clap, clap your hands. Yes, yes, yes. Where do we stand? My weekly standings. This week's weekly standings are who I owe apologies to. Apologies that I owe. We've only got 3. We're going to start from the bottom. We're going to work our way up to the top. First, who do I owe an apology to? Well, myself. Yeah, I do. Because I've been a Geno Smith believer, man. Shout out WVU. West Virginia runs in my DNA, so maybe that's what this was. But I really have been a Geno Smith truther believer for a very long time. And, first few weeks when he was facing some scrutiny, I was like, hey, guys, shut up, But we're starting to get to a point where, yeah, the turnover machine is going to be a problem for Las Vegas. It will. especially when you're paid $75 million, right? And the expectation is that you're going to help turn this program around. Oof. Through 5 games, 1 interception, 3 interceptions, 0 interceptions, 3 interceptions, 2 interceptions. What? That's 9 interceptions, guys, this season. I owe myself an apology. You can't you can't get attached to these guys, man. They will rip your hearts out. They will. And I think Geno Smith is doing that to me a little. But I actually also haven't lost complete faith in him. You see what I'm doing, right? Still I'm defending him. I am a Geno Smith truther. I don't like the slander. I don't like the disrespect, but I can also see where the frustration lies with some Raiders fans. I really can. I don't necessarily blame y'all for being frustrated. So I owe an apology to myself for not putting my foot down with myself. Okay, at 2. Never thought this day would come, but I owe an apology to Sean Payton. What? Sean Payton, you say? It's true. Why do I owe an apology to Sean Payton? Well, that 2-point attempt was stupid. I stand by that. But then I had some time to reflect. Even if it worked, it was still stupid, okay? Because here's the deal. Everyone that's saying like, oh, Sean Payton, like what a ballsy guy, woohoo. Had that failed, you would have been ripping him apart. It was a very ballsy play. And in the moment, I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, are you okay? Why would you do that? So I do owe Sean Payton an apology because it did work. Frankly, it was stupid, even though it worked. That's how I feel. But it really is the ballsy plays that help you win football games. And no coincidence that this was the one win I have seen so far under Sean Payton where it felt like they won a tough game. And sometimes with that comes a little bit of risk. And that's what Sean Payton did with the 2-point attempt. It's true. He took a risk and it worked. So for that, I owe him an apology because I did. I think I called him stupid a couple of times out loud in my living room because I didn't understand why he was doing that. Very ballsy, but it did work. And the amount of times that this Broncos team has lost to a field goal, again, you make a ballsy play like that because you want to win a game. Damn it. If it's the last thing you do. So I owe Sean Payton a little apology for that one because I was at first like, what is wrong with you? Finally, my apology. On my apology tour at 1, Drake Maye. I was unfamiliar with your game, my friend. Not only did you go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen, you outperformed Josh Allen in Buffalo in a primetime game. And guys, the reason I'm owing him an apology is because people tried to tell me. People tried to say Drake Maye is a truther. And I was like, oh my God, please shut it down, Patriots fans. Like, your time is over. Shut it down. Brady's gone, like, please leave me alone. Drake Maye really is special. If he can stay healthy, I think he's got a pretty long career ahead of him. I really do. So I like Drake Maye a lot. I liked what I saw from him. I was waiting for him to screw up and he just didn't. He was very, very Josh Allen-esque out there. I got to say it. I saw some flashes of Josh Allen behavior out there and I was like, wow, okay. So yeah, Drake Maye. I mean, goodness sakes, I apologize for not knowing what you were capable of. My bad. It won't happen again. Shout out Drake Maye. Okay. We've got 2 more segments. I've got an off my chest segment and I've got a love language betting segment, of course, for Monday Night Football. Duh. The off my chest segment is a tough one to talk about. I'm going to be honest. And I guys, I'm actually, frankly, I can actually feel myself welling up a little. I'm a very emotional person. I just am. And I don't show that very often, but in these moments, it's tough on me. Give me a second. Maybe I take a sip so I don't. My fiance's sitting out there. He knows. He already knows. There's certain topics and things that just really upset me, and this might be one of them. Okay. We're going to talk about Kyren Lacy for my off my chest segment. It has now been proven through surveillance as well as body cam footage that Kyren Lacy was innocent and was not responsible for the accident that resulted in a death. He was 72.6 yards to be exact behind the vehicles at the time of the impact. Despite the initial reports that claimed he caused the fatal crash in December of 2024. Kyren Lacy, then a few months later, April of 2025, took his own life. This is just, in my opinion, a really great example of why being innocent until proven guilty really matters. And I understand there are people out there that give that a bad name. But in this situation, it's exactly why we have that in place. It's exactly why the justice system says innocent until proven guilty. His lawyer, with the new evidence presented, stated that Kyren Lacy would have been cleared on all charges. Like I said, unfortunately, a few months after being accused, he took his life in April of 2025. I think it's just important, especially as a person in the media, and I have really tried my best to be better about this. I usually let things simmer down before I speak on them, or I try to get different sources rather than just pulling from the one, because we live in a world right now, and it's getting a little scary actually with the AI and all the media agenda and all the different ways that we can be micromanaged and manipulated by the media to believe what they want us to believe, frankly. We need to refrain from giving our opinion until we have the facts. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about Kyren Lacy, and in not a very nice way, actually. They were very, very quick to throw out very large statements, accusations, talk about his character, despite what his teammates or people close to him were saying about how great of a guy he was. There were a lot of really nasty statements online about who Kyren Lacy was as a person because of what he was accused of. That ultimately he had nothing to do with. Nothing. He was scrutinized by media outlets. He was blamed for this horrific event before we ever knew what the truth actually was. He declared for the draft. His entire life was about to change. He had everything he'd ever worked for sitting in front of him. And unfortunately, he can't even live to see the truth prevail. That's the unfortunate reality. His invitation to the combine was revoked. And I understand, the NFL wanting to protect their image and not want to be involved in things while they're, an open investigation. But again, I think if you revoke his invitation in so many ways, that's kind of showing that you maybe believe the rumor that's out there. This is just a really great reality check, in my opinion, for all of us, everybody. I have a platform. I get to sit in front of a mic and talk about things that I want to talk about. I get to form my opinions on really tough situations a lot. I could actually talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. But I think this is a really good moment for us to stop and slow down for a second. And remember that the justice system exists for a reason. You are innocent until proven guilty, and we really need to start waiting to form our opinions until the facts have been presented. Because had these facts been presented, he may still be here. He may be playing on your favorite team. Innocent until proven guilty always. May he rest in peace. This whole situation truly makes me sick to my stomach. I've been kind of choking back tears this entire time. I just hate this kind of stuff. And I want there to be a little bit of accountability to any media outlet, maybe even the NFL, for jumping to conclusions. I think his family deserves that. I think the people that know and love him and have been defending him and his honor this entire time deserve that. And he certainly deserves that. Just a little bit of acknowledgement or recognition that, hey, I jumped to conclusions that wasn't cool. And I'm learning from this. That's all we can do moving forward. He's not here. That's the part that makes me the most sick. But that's the reality. That's where we're at. So just a learning lesson for all, myself included. Like I said, I have tried to be better about kind of getting information from different places, because we know you could get the same story from two different outlets and they sound completely different. I've been doing better on my part as the journalist side of me. That's what I graduated with. My degree is journalism. Kind of getting my information everywhere and letting things play out a little bit before I speak on them. So I think this is just a reminder that we all need to be better about that. I'm not even just talking about the media. I'm just talking in general. Okay, we're going to move on from that. But I did feel like I needed to address that because it's been something that's been heavy on my mind and my heart, and it felt wrong to not talk about it. Okay, last but not least, we've got the love language segment of the show, which is betting. We've got Monday Night Football tonight, Jags versus Chiefs. Here's the deal. I'm so sorry, guys. Here's the deal. We did see some very significant improvement from the Kansas City Chiefs last week with Xavier Worthy being back. However, the reality is the Kansas City Chiefs were playing against a Swiss cheese defense in the Ravens. That defense, I mean, you could probably get 600 yards out of Tua against that defense. I'm serious. I'm not sure that that is a really good testament to where the Chiefs stand right now because that defense is that bad. It's true. It is that bad. That being said, they did look better. We know that Xavier Worthy can stretch the field for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes will find a receiver. He's still Patrick Mahomes. Let's be real. Still well coached. Okay. I'm just not fully convinced that they are back to their unstoppable ways just because they whooped up on the worst defense in the league, frankly. The Jags have been on my radar. I like their run game. I like their defense. I'm kind of leaning Jags money line tonight. Leaning. I haven't put my money on that yet. What I'm also leaning towards, however, and this is what the line was at when I looked at it, Trevor Lawrence over 20. I'm sorry, 20. Geez, my gosh. Trevor Lawrence over 10.5 rushing yards. I like it. I could see him getting a little mobile out there, especially because he's going to watch Patrick Mahomes do it. We know what Patrick does. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to use his legs a little bit. I think he's only hit this over one time this season, but there's something in my gut that's telling me this might be the play tonight. Trevor Lawrence over 10.5 rushing yards with a little sprinkle, tiny sprinkle on Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown even. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence anytime touchdown, just a little sprinkle there. That's how I feel. So I like those two. And then the obvious, to be honest with you, is ETN anytime touchdown. Feels like that's just a given. Feels like that's got to happen, especially if I'm leaning towards Jags money line. The Jags are not going to win unless ETN's in the end zone. So that's my final play. It just feels like you have to have it. You have to have ETN in the end zone. Otherwise, the Jags don't stand a chance. So I like the Jags run game a lot. I do. And I think that they're going to rely heavily on ETN tonight. So that's what I like, guys. That's what I like for Monday Night Football. What do you say? What are you guys feeling? I think the Jags have got this one. I'm just not there yet with the Kansas City Chiefs. Do I think the Chiefs looked significantly better last week? Yes. Do I think they're going to be more competitive than they were in the first few weeks of play? For sure. But do I think that they're back? No, I don't think they're back yet. So yeah, there you go. I really think the Jags have got this one. ETN in the end zone, potentially Trevor Lawrence in the end zone, but for sure Trevor Lawrence over 10.5 rushing yards. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. What are we talking about? Okay, there you go. That's the show. Mood swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods, if you didn't know. I'm wearing the sickest jacket known to man. If you want one, I'm sorry. I don't know where I got it. I've actually had a lot of people messaging me. I do need to figure out where I got this. Matter of fact, did I get this from the team store? I might have. When I went to their training camp a couple years ago, I might have got this jacket, I'm afraid. I think so. I don't know. I think this is a team store get from training camp. I really do. So I don't know what you got to type into Google to find this one, but it is the coolest jacket ever on this Victory Monday. What a great Victory Monday. World champs going down. Shout out Broncos. They're in London this coming weekend. My mom said yes. Mom, how do you know that? She's my stalker. Did you guys see that? My mother said yes. What are you talking about, Mom? How do you know where I got this? Maybe I was with her. That might be why. Oh, okay. Well, I think it's the team store. You know, if my mom says yes, moms know best. That's the truth. Moms know everything. So I think that's where I got this. But either way, that's neither here nor there. The Denver Broncos playing the Jets in London. Not sure how I feel. Is she single? Are you talking about my mother? No, she's not. But anyway, that's a new one. Look at you, Mom. They think you're hot. Woo! Love that for you. 7:30 a.m., guys. Kickoff time for the Broncos here in Colorado time. Oh, not sure I like that. My mom's laughing. See, you made her laugh. That's a really good start, my friend. Look at you. All right, this is getting weird. Let's get out of here. Shout out MoodSwings. Shout out Live Mood. Shout out Denver freaking Broncos. We will see you guys again Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain time, same place for another episode. And of course, 7:30 a.m. kickoff on Sunday. Woohoo! Make sure you get to bed early on Saturday. Love you guys so much, and we will see you on Friday.